This
We're
is
talking
literally
about
crazy. See how he snaps his wrist? Now the guy starts reaching back up.
the fight becomes this foot right here versus this elevator.
This is how he beat Dake in the Olympics in 2021. You want to look towards the legs. So should be looking to go to the right.
Welcome to the Athletes Ocean podcast. We got Jason here. I'm John Broughton. And I think you're going to like today's podcast, Jason, because
Okay.
you think you're getting one thing and you're actually getting something else. And
Really?
yeah, so there's a lot of different things going on in the NCAA right now. There's a Jocko Molk in your hand. I
Yep.
also wanted to say congratulations. You had your first kid. Your
Thank
daughter was born how many days ago?
6 days ago, and I want to talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah, lots of big things.
Before we get started, we got to give a shout out to the best mat company out there,
Yes.
Resolite.
Yeah, we do.
You guys are looking to get new mats for your high school or for your club, Reslite has the best mats, so make sure you hit them up.
I actually just got done drilling on the hybrid mats that we have at the office. They're cut out specifically for the room, and they have the ocean logo on them. So it's pretty sweet. We're lucky. We're spoiled, to be honest.
Hmm. There you go. There you have it.
Yeah. I like the grip on them too. They're much better than like the rough jujitsu mats, but they're not quite like wrestling mats. They're just perfect. Um, yeah, so women's wrestling gets approved for D1, D2, D3, NCAA. That's big. I figured that we'd talk about that first because, obviously there's a big like hurdle with Title IX and whether or not we're going to get, certain schools to keep wrestling because they need to balance out the women's programs and stuff like that. Um, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows because it's still adding a sport that is needed to be funded, and you need boosters and you need travel money and coaches and a roster and all that stuff. So there's still a lot of hurdles to go through, but it's a big step for women's wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, there's women's wrestling right now is at an all-time high. And my daughter is she sounds like she wants to wrestle. She's screaming right now. Here. But yeah, women's wrestling is doing great right now. Obviously, like, we have one of the best teams in the world, and people like Amita Laura, who's just unstoppable. You got Kennedy Blades, you got all these really high level athletes, and Iowa right now is kind of just taking over in women's wrestling. They got like everybody on one team. They got
Yeah,
Kylie, Casey, and Kennedy, and
yeah, they're kind
everybody.
of unopposed, really.
Mhm.
They got the great coaching staff and stuff like that too. So yeah, and then North Central's also got a great program, but they're a Division III school, so it's kind of interesting that the women's wrestling seems to be really scattered across the divisions as well. Um, it was like NAIA and that was it, and now it's gonna be.
They're all wrestling together, right? Like there's only one national tournament.
I believe so. I believe so. But
I have a girl, she used to wrestle at Round Rock, which is where I coached my club
mhm.
back, and her name's Ansley Day, and she wrestles up in Wisconsin actually, but she was home over Christmas break, and we did a practice session together, and she's pretty good. She's ranked like 17th in the country, but I guess they all compete against each other. But I don't know. I thought that's what she told me.
Heck yeah. So, do you want to get into the curveball that I'm throwing you, or do you want to
Yeah,
talk about the birth of Arya Nolf?
yeah, we'll talk about Aria later.
Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. So, we are not on Flow Wrestling's level as far as what's going on in the wrestling world and topics and stuff like that. But what we are great at is breaking down technique. So I've
Yes.
pulled a bunch of clips, and I don't know if we're going to get flagged for this because I don't know the rules on YouTube, but we're going to break down the key exchanges from this past weekend. And then I even have a throwback that's relevant this week. So,
I wish I had something on my wall behind me. It's like so like plain. Your wall looks so nice.
oh, I appreciate that, man. That means a
Yeah.
lot. So you can see this.
Yeah, it looks like he's got legs in and
So
he
this
has a,
is yeah, this is the 125 match. And so the key thing here is the Oklahoma State wrestler Spratley is his name, right? So he's going to go for a tilt here, and it's pretty clear that he didn't watch the Jason Nolf tilt instructional, but the
Bassett instructional.
or the Bassett tilt instructional newly released.
I
Basically,
have a
he gets
funny story about that, by the way.
yeah.
I'll tell it after this. So
So
let's see
he
what
gets
it's.
high with a leg in. He tries to maintain control, but he doesn't leave. He doesn't like post with either of his arms to try and get height. He just tries to hang on. He kicks over the side and kind of recovers, and then goes right into this cross or this cross wrist tilt,
Yep.
2-on-1 tilt, and the fight becomes this foot right here versus this elevator, right? And so if he can get this over to the other side, then he can high leg over, right? And then he's got to keep him in the pocket, and this is the whole exchange, the this leg versus this leg.
You're saying right now you're trying to elevate his bottom leg with his top leg.
Well, yeah, and you're trying to keep him in the hip
How
pocket.
the heck did that happen right there? Go back. So he pushes his knee down.
Yep. And he's extending that bottom leg so that he doesn't have the bottom leg as a kickstand, right? So you need a kickstand and an elevator. And he extends this ankle, right? And because he
Uh,
extends this, he's able to pop over the top. So then
yeah,
like he's fighting both legs at the same time. This one he's keeping bent so that he can't get elevated, and the other one he's extending out so that he can pop over the top.
yeah,
It's slick work.
that's good. And this was a big upset too.
Yeah, and he puts him in danger. This is how he gets the fall.
Wow.
And then
And then
boom.
he shoots the gun at him or something, right?
Yeah. Flat man, as Caden Henschel would say.
That's messed up right there. You
Bang
can't be
bang.
doing that.
You think that's too much?
You can't be doing that. That'd be 15-yard penalty and probably uh, a flagrant.
What would
A
Coach Kale do
flagrant
if
in
you did that in a
basketball,
duel?
a flagrant in basketball. In football, that's a 15-yard personal foul right there, and you probably are getting fined big money.
I think that should be encouraged.
You can't shoot somebody. Like that's messed up. I wonder if he was doing it because he's a cowboy and cowboys have like the guns.
Uh, yeah.
Cowboys in the air.
Mountaineers do too, though.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And he was, I mean, listen, mixed feelings. I think Coach Kale would actually make you run if you did that.
I'm team no shooting people.
Yeah. That's a hard team to not be on. But at the same time, I am pro celebration. I think
Yeah,
celebrations are
I'm pro
good.
celebration. If you want to do it, I'm pro celebration, but just don't disrespect your opponent.
No,
Because
I
if somebody
agree.
tries to disrespect me, like it's going to turn into a brawl.
I agree. I
Right?
I agree. All right, so I guess I just watched this exchange. So this is 125 Nebraska versus Penn State. Luke Lillidahl facing his first All-American, and this kid's a senior, I think like a fifth year senior. And
Yep.
so
Seventh
this
year.
is what?
No, I'm just kidding. I
A
said
sixth
seventh.
year, seventh year. Yeah, there's a 10th year senior right here for Nebraska. Let's get into it. So he goes duck.
Look at the time too. There's 20 seconds left in the third period. So this is crucial time to score.
Yeah, this is super clutch. So, I mean, the first thing is he goes duck and Luke pops off the top and blocks his arm, right?
Oh, he goes duck from what, an underhook?
Looks like it.
He kind of has a front headlock and kind
Yeah,
of, yeah,
he's got that underhook.
that's not a good position to duck from, fellas.
Boom.
Kind of gets there though.
He does. Yeah, he's athletic with it. And I mean, it's a surprise, right? It's not something that he was expecting. But Luke blocks this arm so that he can't turn this into a leg attack, right? And he steps through with this inside leg. We did a breakdown of this on our Instagram. You guys can go check
Roman
it
does
out.
that too.
Who does?
RBY,
Roman?
RBY. Yeah.
Yeah, he really good at blocking that arm, um, and casting over to the side. I think he shows that in his short offense
Yeah.
instructional. Yeah, it's good stuff. So Luke blocks that, steps through, and then they get to a front headlock. He goes drag on this inside arm right here and gets behind him and then disconnects perfect timing on the Granby. That's like the most impressive thing is the timing is so quick and on point. Like he doesn't mess up any of the steps. You know what I mean? It's like boom, react to the duck, immediately get into a short offense situation, hit the drag. He goes Granby, you just pitch him through.
This is what makes the difference in the biggest matches is being able to chain wrestle. Like a lot of people, they try to hit one move and they might have good technique with that move, but if it's unsuccessful, then they kind of just like staying there. And what Luke does really well here is he goes from one move to the next, to the next, to the next. One thing that I would have liked to see Luke do a little bit better, whenever Caleb goes duck here, he does a good job now starting to go behind. Go again, keep going until he gets to a short drag. When he gets to a short drag, he goes to the waist. And when he goes to the waist, that allows Caleb. He could be standing up from here and getting his elbow back, his right elbow back. Instead, he goes for the Granby.
Mhm.
Luke is able to defend that easily. But if Luke go back about half a second, if Luke just goes to his far ankle here, so drag to his ankle, then there's
Yeah.
no Granby,
Yeah.
and he's able to secure the takedown even faster. But in this case, it didn't matter.
Yeah, he can finish clean. Um, yeah, so I mean, caught in transition, it's like a bang bang thing, but yeah, you're right. Like when you're hitting that drag on the inside of the arm, you want to go to the ankle and drive in with your
I
head.
think that's like brings up like an important concept in wrestling too. A lot of people they watch their matches and they just look on like where they got scored on or like what they're doing wrong, like in positions where they got beat. But you can also like break down your own matches and look, even though I scored here, I could have done it a little bit better. Or, nothing happened in this position, but I could be inside tie instead of resting my hand on the outside. I think the more critical you can be when you're breaking down your matches, you're just going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, this is literally the most crucial sequence of his college career so far. And you're right, there's stuff that he can do better, right? And that's exciting too, right? Like he's gonna continue to grow and get better. But that's like great for younger wrestlers to know. It's like even the takedowns you get, you can break them down and figure out how to do them even better. The thing I like about this sequence a lot is the chain wrestling. You could tell that Luke drills a lot, and he has a good like sense of flow wrestling.
Yeah, that's
And these are all like positions that he understands, like on all of this instruction that we're doing either on YouTube or Instagram or our instructional videos, it's like having a great understanding of that position is really how you're able to pick these things apart and flow wrestle like this because you understand what the other person is trying to do and you understand how to stop it and that little arm post, right? That little pitch through on the Granby. You understand what your opponent's trying to do and you understand like how to stop it.
very
So
good.
yeah, that was impressive. Okay. So next one. If I can get to I'm getting blocked by all the Zoom tabs.
I hate that.
This is just beautiful. This is beautiful by the Okie State guy. So he's gonna half shoot in and then just this is like more than anything, I think this is timing. I'm curious to see your input on it, but I think that this is kind of like the epitome of putting two attacks together. So he shoots in and then bam.
Wow. My first thought was that was a great down block. Look right there.
Yeah, by West Virginia.
Yeah, he gets his hand right in there. Boom, but he stops.
Yeah, right
Like,
there.
does
And
he go to the elbow here?
say what?
Does Sheets go to the elbow here?
Let me hit you with the old
Yeah, the point.
2.5 speed.
Yeah, he goes to the elbow. Oh no. Kind of, yeah. He throws the elbow over and plants that hand on the mat and is able to duck out. That was slick.
Yeah. The thing that stuck out to me is like when you take this half shot and like yeah, it's down blocked, right? The the wrestler is going to want to kind of hold on because they've achieved like some type of like defensive sequence, right?
And
And
he got
so
an underhook. That's a
yeah,
strong.
yeah. So he's like, oh, cool, I have an underhook now, right? And then it's a great reaction and timing of putting the two attacks together. So, you guys say a lot like put two attacks together. I mean, this is that in action.
Yeah, because a lot of times you're going against guys, especially at the college level, like you're going against somebody. It might take you 6, 7 attacks before you actually get the takedown. But kind of like I actually really like Bo Bassett's machine gun mindset because he talked about it. I think it was on a Rudis post. But like, where does that come from? It comes from, if you're a machine gun and you're firing off thousands of bullets, or like in wrestling, if you're firing off thousands of attacks, hundreds of attacks, then you're going to score a lot more points than if you just try to find the perfect setup and like a pistol, like you're trying to find the perfect setup and the perfect attack. It's not really going to happen. But continuing to keep the pressure on your opponent, and Sheets does a great job here. He's shooting, boom, he takes that shot, it gets stopped. He's right back to another score.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that was really
beautiful stuff. And I mean, that's like the highlight is usually created by the hand fighting, right? The highlight's usually created by the pressure and the pace and the timing and all that stuff, and making him bite on like the first couple fakes, and then boom, as soon as he gets comfortable, you hit him with the highlight.
yeah.
All right, sweet. Next one, we got some big man wrestling.
Gable back.
Gable is back. He's back in action, and he is just going to hit a great high C here. Boom. And so the big thing that sticks out to me on this when I was watching it is one, he takes a half shot and recovers up. He doesn't get extended, right? He keeps his legs underneath him, right? Because if he got to the leg there, he was going to try and score that half shot, right? Um, but the other thing is like, especially for smaller heavyweights, is you don't want to get caught underneath like a really big guy, right? You want to cut the corner quick. And so Gable's really athletic and he times this really well. He cuts the corner on his shot. And then
Yeah.
that
And
that
I
sprawl
like
is
his
just
wrist snap. Wrist
boom.
snaps are underrated. So if you go back right here, once the guy gets an inside tie on him, see how he snaps his wrist?
Yeah.
Boom. Now the guy starts reaching back up, and that's when he kind of goes back down.
Hmm.
So using like head snaps and wrist snaps is like one of the best setups in wrestling. And then, like you said, he cuts the corner here, windshield wipers his feet, and is able to easily get the takedown. Quick
Yeah, that
finish.
that snap is beautiful. And you could tell he just like he stepped hard, right? He's like
Yeah.
off balance and Gable can see it, and that just becomes his setup.
Being able to windshield wipe your feet too. The Michigan guy, Heinzelman, he's trying to sit the corner on Gable here. And because Gable keeps his feet moving and his windshield wiper and his knees, he's able to easily defend that.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
That was a swim. That was a swim high crotch too.
Yeah, he
That
just boom.
outside step. That's
Throws
becoming
his arm
more and
back.
more popular with higher level wrestlers is the outside step.
Hmm.
I like it, but I don't really teach it to my kids as much because um, they don't do it right, and they do like what's called a drop step high crotch, where
Mm.
they just like, outside step, but they just drop their knee without. If you look at Gable, you see how he like still penetrates and
Yeah.
he's still sliding. That's a concept that's kind of hard to understand. So I teach a regular high crotch first, chase a leg, and really work on penetrating. Then once somebody's got that down, now we can work outside step.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is a higher level concept. And it
Mhm.
is I mean, I see what you mean, like the back knee is actually leg sliding or
Yeah,
a knee sliding. And
yeah.
you're right, like a lot of people get planted there and they just put their
They
knee down.
just do an outside step, but they drop their right knee where he's like really
Right.
penetrating his hips underneath.
And then if you do it like that, it's basically a duck. And so you have to have like a super deep like penetration to have that be effective.
Yeah, that was
That's
really good.
beautiful. Good stuff. Next, we got another one from Nebraska. I know you talked about how you might want to break this down, so let's get into it. This is
Yeah.
Tyler Kasak. He's gonna get
Antrell Taylor is super athletic and very fast.
yeah, he gets
He's
to
able
that
to get that
low
single
single
here.
and then builds up to a
He's doing the
single leg
right thing
pull.
here. He's doing the right thing. Taylor, whenever you get to the low single, you always want to try to get the foot in the air. The problem is he steps up with his right foot too close to Kasak. So right here, instead of kind of trying to get the angle a little bit, he steps up with his right foot, but Kasak is still in front of him with that overhook. So now this is a really common defense. If you look at like Kadri Magomedov versus Dake, this is how he beat Dake in the Olympics in 2021. It was from an overhook, and Dake had a body lock. But this is and Gilman hit this on Vito a few years ago at the World Team Trials. But you go overhook, and then as soon as the guy steps up, you're going to do a little underhook of the far knee, and now he's going to look to elevate that off the mat. Once he gets it here, he just clubs him and does a little inside trip and is able to secure the takedown.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard this called Metzger.
Yeah,
Obviously if the guy's on it on the leg, it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, it's the same concept, right? And then the thing that strikes me about this is like Kasak just he went to it and he just hit it like hard. Like he didn't
yeah,
like half hit it. He fully committed to it. And that's like
yeah.
what won him the position.
Yeah, he gets up with it right away. As soon as he gets down that leg, now he starts standing up and getting to his feet.
Boom. And then he splits the legs and crawls up to get his back points.
Yeah. He tries to keep that bottom leg elevated to keep him on his back. It's perfect.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, like this guy's fresh, but later on in the match, like that could be a pin, right? Because he's got the legs split, he's got it turked, right? So beautiful stuff.
Being able to score 7 points too, it's 0-0, then it's 7-0, right?
Yeah,
That's like a big game changer. And that was Taylor was in on his leg. Like a lot of people are going to finish this.
yeah.
Maybe not Tyler, but a lot of people are. You get to the leg and you're looking to
Boom.
finish. Oh, it's instead of 3-0, it's seven. That's a 10-point swing.
God, I was so hyped. Yeah, Tyler's on fire this year. He's doing really well.
He's really strong.
Yeah, and it's crazy because he's moving up a weight class, you know?
Yeah.
I heard Piles was talking about how he wasn't the biggest 49 when he wrestled last year, and
Yeah.
wrestled all the way back and took third, and now he's like not a small 57, but he's not a huge 57, but he's strong, and he more than anything is a strong 57, which is good. Um, so this is Matt Ramos, who's been really impressive this year. He gets in on a low single, and basically he gets caught in a position where RBY did it to DeSanto a couple years ago in the Big Ten semifinals, where basically he's just going to go for that danger rule, right? So Ramos gets to this low single, head on the knee, and then he gets
Now they're
elevated
fighting tight.
through,
Yep. It's
and
a good
then
job by Crone.
yeah, and then he tries to keep him there, and
He
Ramos has
needs to
got to
keep
get
his
out of there.
elbow. Yeah. So he needs to keep his elbow inside of Ramos's thigh if he wants to score here, and keep Ramos on his back. So as he starts taking him over, pause here. So right here, if he can kind of shoot his arm up and then just use his right elbow to keep uh, Ramos's thigh and he kind of hold him into that danger zone, he's able to score. But he lets him roll all the way through to his belly, and then that's makes it hard to score from this position now.
Yeah, I mean, and there's it's like one thing of like looking for the score versus completely defending the takedown, you know? I mean, I'm sure that he gets here and he's like, "Oh, I could hold him for danger," you know? But he's also like, "Let me just get my legs out of here," you know? You could see he's like trying to like post his knee on Ramos's shoulder and get out there. Yeah.
Now, what does Ramos do? Does he get his knees underneath him? Yep. And he
Yep.
starts building up and getting head height. This is perfect. Now, you want to look towards the leg. So should be looking to go to the right. Now, once he can peel that leg off, then that's good.
Yeah,
He's able
and
to.
then this finish that he goes to, he wants to extend this bottom leg and keep it straight, and then once he hooks it, he wants to bridge into it a little bit so that he can't the Ohio State wrestler can't do a hamstring curl basically. And as soon as he has it isolated, then he just has to beat that knee off of his head.
Oh, I like the way he sits back off of I like the way he sits back off the ankle. So he's coming out the back door, and Macron has his ankle right here.
He's
See how
he,
see how
yep.
he sits back off of it instead of trying to like sit up. He sits back, and then he's able to get that foot clear.
Yeah, and he slowly peels it off, and then immediately he's he's already thinking about this hooking this bottom leg, right?
As he has control with his left
Boom.
hand.
Yeah, he's like, as soon as this ankle gets free, I'm gonna hook this leg. Boom. And it's just
Now
like
he's,
in sequence, bam, bam,
yep,
clear, hook, pop off the knee,
headgear off.
headgear off, don't need it.
Now he should be looking to climb up the body and get to a crossface.
Yeah. And so is
Oh,
the end of the period, I think. Or no, maybe stalemate.
they gave him the takedown, but they want him to fix his headgear.
That's good. Safety first.
Yeah.
Any other things in this exchange that stick out to you?
No, I just think it's good. Like anytime you're on a low single, you want to start getting height. And if like what I look to do is so we keep going. He gets rolled through here. Boom. Now Ramos is able to fight his way back to his belly. He starts getting his knees up underneath them and pause it here. So
You want
so
me to go
right
back?
here, if you can't like get your leg clear, you can also step up with your inside foot. So his left foot could step up, and then he could start looking towards the leg that he has and start turning towards right and looking to finish from there and then sliding his foot out.
I
But
see what you're saying. Like if he drapes this over his shoulder and peels back this way. Yeah.
exactly. He's doing a
Yeah.
good job here. I really like his sit out, clears that foot, and then controls it with his left hand and
Bam.
is able to the Turk.
Ramos is good, man. He's definitely front runner for the title right now.
I saw a tweet today. It said would Penn State beat all the number ones in the country? So you'd have Lilladall versus Ramos, and then you have who's 33?
Braden
Uh
Davis.
Braden Davis versus Drake Ayala,
Mm-hmm.
Bartlett versus Mendez,
Mm-hmm.
Van Ness versus Henson, Kasak versus Teamer,
Mm-hmm.
Messenbrink is Caliendo the next guy.
Yeah.
Um 74 would be Levi versus Keegan.
Levi Keegan, yeah. Carter
80
Keckeisen.
Tech guys in. Barr versus Buchanan, which
Yeah.
we're going to see a lot of these matches coming up in the Big
Yeah,
Ten.
this is gonna be fun. And
And
then
then
Gable and Greg.
yeah, so
Wow.
that could be a really good duel. The guy that posted it said he had 16-16 score, and but
That's
he had
crazy.
Gable majoring Greg,
Yeah,
which
I don't
if
know if that's gonna
anything,
happen.
Greg's going to major Gable.
I like that. Yeah, let's go. Um, yeah, no, that's gonna be a good match. Those guys are both tremendous. I'm excited for it. So I got a little throwback for you because Anthony's movie just came out. The Anthony Robles movie Unstoppable. I watched it last night. You were right, it was good.
This is
Um,
very good.
so I've been feeling ball and chain tilts all day. So I figured we'd have a little throwback to his national championship match here. First, he's going tiger ride, forehead on the back of McDonough's arm to capture that wrist, and he's driving in with his leg.
That's so crazy that he has one leg.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
And so now he's got the wrist. He's already like starting to feed it in between the legs because that's what he wants, right? And then boom. And see, he kept it with this hand for a bit so that he could transition behind McDonough's leg. Bam. Just for the second, just to get it. Then he wants to make sure that he's got it, keep weight on his hips so he can't get up, and immediately he just pops
Oh, he
through,
rolls through.
picks
Wow.
out the bottom leg, pulls him into the pocket. And so I was thinking about this because we
This
were
is
talking
literally
about
crazy.
I know, right?
What is happening?
It's insane. So
Is that
we
Johnny DeJulius?
yeah, it's a Johnny DeJulius. Yeah, exactly. Dude, how like the casting on that is perfect. Like
He only
Johnny
did a
looked
amazing job.
exactly like McDonough, and
Did
he
a
did.
nice-
He did an awesome job. Like he's a Hollywood actor. Somebody hire this man.
Yeah.
I guess they already did. So he pulls him into the pocket, and I was thinking about this because um, we're running out of time, but we can finish this up. So um, Anthony only has one leg, right? So it's almost like which leg do you prioritize in the tilt, right? The elevator or the kickstand. Whereas he's keeping him in the pocket, right? Which is most important thing, keeping him his hips tight. And then as McDonough builds up, right, he kicks out that leg.
Oh,
Oh, wait, hang on. He did it earlier on. There. He did it when he
yeah.
first goes through. And he doesn't wait. He just, as soon as he's got it, he trusts it, kicks it out,
Yep. He's kicking it out.
and
Yep.
that's what gets him down into the
That's
pocket
a
to get
3-year fall.
back points. And okay, so I heard this rule years ago. Do you have to be within 3 inches of the mat to
I
to
don't
get
know.
back points?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like he's bridging so high here. Is he
That's
on his
definitely back points,
well, especially because he already like
especially because he only has one leg.
what's Jason? I was gonna say especially because he gets into this position where this
Yeah.
is clearly back points,
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
he hikes up and gets really high. So I guess like after being in that position, you keep counting.
Yeah, that's
But
near
yeah,
fall.
just beautiful work, Anthony Robles, best ball and chain tilt I've ever seen.
Yeah, very good. Does that conclude our match breakdown
This is our
series?
last technique video. Yeah. What do you think about this? I like this. I think that
I
if
think we
we
should
don't
keep
get
doing it.
we should keep doing it if we don't get flagged by YouTube.
Yeah. Well, these are YouTube videos.
I understand, but they're not our YouTube videos, so we'll see.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know how it works. Um, but
NCAA didn't come for us. We're doing you a service. We're bringing people to the sport of wrestling.
we're making wrestling young kids better.
We're making wrestling great again.
If we're That's what we're doing. It's a new era in the world. You said you had a story you wanted to tell.
Don't remember.
The birth of your daughter.
Oh, the birth of my daughter. Yeah. Yeah. It was like a movie. So Maddie's water breaks at like 5 a.m. She's like, Jason, my water broke. I'm like, let's go. Because we literally prayed about it the night before. We're like, we pray that it happens tonight. And then it happened. The night before, we were also doing jujitsu. So we're in cross ashy position. And I
You
was
and
having a hard,
hang on. You and Maddie are doing jujitsu?
yeah,
So
and
you
the
have
baby.
your pregnant wife, 9 month pregnant wife in an Ashigarami leg lock.
I have her in cross ashy and I have double trouble. And
She's not getting out of that.
so I was leaning over and then I try to get the figure four on the bottom side. And
And her water broke. No, I'm
no,
kidding.
I wanted to, but that day she was literally doing squats too at the
Oh my
gym,
goodness.
which was, yeah, it was funny. And she's on the treadmill like she's literally a beast. But we get to the hospital and so our water breaks. We get to the hospital and it took about all day. So we got there like 6 a.m. and then um, she started like getting the contraction. She was in pain like all day. And then she's getting ready to push. And I'm literally like pacing the room like I'm getting ready to compete. I'm like, because it's also like time for me to like get motivation and stuff. So I'm like literally bouncing. I'm like sweating. I'm nervous. I'm like, palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on my sweater already.
Mom
I'm
spaghetti.
walking back and forth. And then like, I'm just waiting. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go. And then the doctor was like, or the nurse was like, hey, this could take up to like 3 hours. Like, I was just like, I was like, this will be 20 minutes tops. And
You said
so,
that?
yeah. And Maddie, her first push, she pushed and she's like, oh, we got to call the doctor. The baby's ready. And
Wow.
she pushed for like the doctor, it took her like 5 minutes. And then she pushed for maybe like 7, 8 minutes. And the baby was born.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's because, well, one,
Please tell
God bless
me.
tremendously. Um, I think Maddie's like exercise and like the fact that she's been still working out. Like the doctors actually recommend like that you don't like lift over a certain amount of weight, but Maddie like was just like squatting and running, and uh, I think that helped
Like
her.
no changes at all to her training regimen. Just the pro soccer player just going to work. I love it.
Yeah. Now I'm like stressed out about like all the vaccines and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Jason, we're trying to get this video on YouTube and not flagged. All right. Don't you cannot be pulling this RFK. This is a conversation that we can have in 5 minutes. I'll agree with everything you say. We can't bring this
I
up
don't,
yet.
yeah, I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So sure we'll get some people in the comments with some suggestions.
Reach out to Max Dean. I think he did a whole lot of
I have
research.
talked to him, but it's like I want to, yeah, I've
He's
talked to him.
talking about like calculus and you need algebra one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this later. Um,
Sounds good. All right, more
but
match breakdowns. Let's do it.
yeah,
I think we throw in some UFC highlights too. I think we throw in some jujitsu breakdowns. But yeah, I mean, college wrestling is running right now, so we'll do college wrestling and then hopefully some international wrestling. I think this will be fun.
yeah, yeah. But being a dad is really awesome. You know, it's crazy like seeing like a human that you had a part in making.
Yeah,
But it's like the biggest miracle that like God gives. Like how are their bones formed inside of your body? And like they have like eyeballs and like they can see and like hear and like it's just like if if you don't believe in God, then like how do you explain that? You know what I
I I
mean?
I can't.
And the baby comes out and like all of their nutrients and stuff are coming through a tube that are like going through their belly button. And then I cut the cord. I'm like, I'm like, that's crazy.
That's insane. God
So
bless.
yeah,
That's awesome. And then it's like your life is always going to be different and her story, just started, you know.
yeah.
And now yeah, I mean she looks at you and just like that's my dad, you
You know, I
know.
literally go, "This is your dada. Dada. This is your dada." And
That's
I,
her first memory. That's the first
I did
thing
that
she
all
sees
day
in
to
this
her.
world.
And now it's like her first words are definitely gonna be dada because I never say it. This is your mama. This is mama. I'm just
Mama.
always like dada,
Dada.
dada.
I heard that dada is easier to say than mama.
It definitely is.
Yeah. So we got an advantage there, us guys.
So if she says mama first, then I don't know what to do.
That's a good looking quarter zip, by the way. You look like you're a dad, but you're a sharp looking dad.
Thank you.
You gotta get really into dad jokes and just
Today I
take
ran a clinic. Today I ran a clinic for my wrestling club,
mhm.
and because it was a holiday, and we had about 45 kids come in. We set the capacity at 40, but we let a couple extra slide.
Let's go.
And I was doing tilts. I did the first hour and a half on tilts and the second hour and a half on cradles.
Hmm.
And for the tilts, like I have my tilts and stuff, but I bought Bo Bassett's instructional last night and just like watched all his technique, and then I just taught everything that Bo Bassett. He had some great points that like I've been wrestling for so long, but he had some like great points that wrestling's just still continuing to evolve.
Yeah,
And
he's
even if
awesome.
you know like a lot about wrestling, like I just watched a high schooler's instructional, and I had a lot of success in college, and
You're a
and
three-time national champ and Penn State's all-time pin leader, and you're learning
I'm
from
still
Bo
able to
Bassett.
learn.
I
Yeah,
love it.
like just some of the concepts that he's talking about with like his CrossFit still like, and I was like, so I literally the whole first hour and a half, people could have just bought his instructional and didn't have to pay $100 come to the clinic.
That's
So
yeah,
and cradles, I showed my own stuff from the cradles.
good stuff. Yeah, you got some good stuff there. Yeah, I mean, you can learn from anybody. If you guys want to learn more, you need to check out our platform, Athletes Ocean. We launched our new website in early December, and we've just been continuing to improve our product. It's just going to get better. So, really excited to see you guys over there. And thanks for tuning in. Jason, you got anything else?
So long.
Peace out. We'll see you guys
Notre
later.
Dame.
Notre Dame by a million.
Let's go. We'll see how that ages.